Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I wanted to do a quick reading. I have the decks out right now. I'm going to use the Yokai Tarot, the Ukiyo Tarot, and the Kitsune Oracle. I feel like for some reason something random was coming up, and it's like I watch a lot of YouTube videos on cooking YouTube videos, and there's one person, she says Flavor Flava, and like when she's adding seasoning, so it feels like there's something that's gonna get topped off. Like I feel that when you add flavor to your food, it's more of an enhancement, and maybe to make it your own, to give it some pizzazz, and it's customizable. So there's something that I feel like is, well, that has those characteristics. And I'm also getting like to that this might have to be created by you. Like if there's a path that wasn't there before, you might have to put the effort in to make it happen or to create it yourself, or even going out of your way. So there could be extra steps or things that really make it stand out or make you stand out. It could be like a job, or um, making sure that um, when it comes to relationships, you're a whole person, and then when someone comes along, it's more of an enhancement when um, they're not completing you, and um, there's also that sense of needing to be true to that. And I feel like there isn't that much of overextending your energy either. So it could be that things are coming together naturally too. And the bottom of the deck is the Ten of Cups. That's the only card that I see right now because I didn't turn over the other ones. And it feels like finding your happy place too, or something that just meshes well with you. And it could be like a person or people that you've come across. I feel like it could be people just because it's the Ten of Cups and it's more maybe like communal feeling to it. Instead of maybe like individuals coming together, although it could lead to that too, because it seems like it crossed your path, or you came about it one way or another. I also have like the Kool-Aid um fabric here because I sewed a, a case, and if you know the Kool-Aid man, he like comes out of nowhere. Um, so he breaks through different places. So this could be a breakthrough too. Again, just putting yourself out there and um, being in that situation that's like hard to miss. There's a lot of like the purple colors or like indigo. Could be like indigo children having certain gifts too. So willing entanglement and time to restore, which is interesting. So it could be knowing when the right time is. So not needing to react to everything. Not everything is meant to have your energy or meant for you to put energy towards it. I'm really feeling strongly about those colors. So it could be helping others to like indigo children or things might come to you. Like I said, there isn't like an overextension of energy. So I feel like there's something that's going to come your way. There could be preparation coming in or that you're doing right now with the Five of Wands. And then the obstacle is the Ten of Coins. So it kind of feels like what is the place to go? Like, because there's the Ten of Cups here, and that feels like a sense of community, but then there's the Ten of Coins and the obstacle, kind of like solidifying it all, or even having some groundwork. So, maybe there isn't uh already a place for this, and then it's just coming about, and you're um building it yourself. It could be like a ground up type of energy. If this has to do with like careers, it feels like something that is pretty unique to you in a way where maybe your family members, they've taken the traditional path, and as years go by, there's different ways that people make money, different things that are developing. The job market's constantly changing where there's certain things that are um, more accessible or more available than other types of jobs, and maybe jobs that weren't as accessible in the past are becoming more accessible to you. Um, it just seems like that part of life has really transformed, and you're kind of rolling with the punches with um, needing to go with the change. Because if you do it like the maybe traditional way, and it's not to say that you don't have traditional values, maybe you have some, but then it's combining with or coinciding with other things that are more modernized. Um, it seems like uh, a smart move to say the least. And I feel like the Ten of Coins really is investing in that. Um, there's that persistence, and there's also the discussion of, for maybe the lack of better words at this point, of a certain type of finding the niche or finding that type of addiction. Um, it's definitely used in maybe a really different context than uh, like the medical terms. But in terms of this reading, it's like, because I watch videos of passive income and financial investments, like entrepreneur type of videos, and um, it there was like an interesting point of, say you play video games and you're constantly playing video games, and some people might say that's commitment, other people might say you're addicted to the game. Regardless of what the context is of what they're saying, you were able to surpass certain levels that a lot of people at some point weren't able to get to. It could have been like more competitive in that way because now you invest so much time in it that it's becoming something that you're actually navigating through better than others in a way. So it's becoming so good at something that um, that it's actually almost in a way, this is stretching it, but profitable. I mean, you could make profit off of playing video games. Um, and there's jobs out there for that for sure. I have seen them a lot, especially in the Japanese market for jobs. Um, and just for reference, I work for a company that uh, is linked to or works with an international company in Asia, in Korea. So it just feels like there's that type of thing where it seems like specific where you're putting a lot of time and energy into it, and that's where the strength is coming from. So it's like when you're having, again, the addiction to find something that's almost worth getting addicted to in a way. Um, and going from there, like if you're trying to make money, being addicted to making money in a specific way, like being that works for you. So there's that shift in mindset and shift of action because you have the coins here and it's like physicality, and then maybe there's that like I was getting like desperation too. So there could be like times where it really needs to you really need to push forward with this, otherwise things could just like fold, and you're like determined to have it be something that's worthwhile. So that's the energy that I get from like even the Five of Wands too. Of there's like uh adversity, but to every disadvantage comes an equivalent advantage type of mindset too. So trying to work through something, overcoming the obstacle you have, that it's really interesting. The Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Swords is really following, as I said, following the beat of his or her own drum. Because again, it seems like it's an energy that's more like catered to your personality or catered to how you function in the world. Like maybe you're just not a type of person that likes 9 to 5. Like that's just it. It's out. And other people just keep saying you could just get a 9 to 5, and you're just like, say less. I am just not mentally um set up like that. Like there's something about it that just you're getting the ew from it. Like it just doesn't work with your personality, or there's certain things in life, or it could, um, I don't want to say, like there with the saying ew, but and not saying that towards a person necessarily, but maybe there's just, again, there's needing it to be like you're whole and um it's interesting when like you see the posts of like people that have or women that especially that have been on their own or independent for so long, like they just it can get difficult because they could just be like putting the toilet paper the wrong way and they're like you're disrupting my peace. I can't, I'm not going to do this. But I think it's like a balance of that. And then the overall energy is the Nine of Swords. Like I said, with almost like desperation type of energy. Like there's something that just it needs to get done and you know it needs to get done because it really um affects maybe the future that you'll have. Um there's some type of domino effect. There's something that makes it seem as if it needs to things need to change. So almost kind of like doing your head into because there's just that like moment where almost where something sets in and if it's painful like you can't take it anymore in a way and something needs to change or something needs to like be taken out or there's some like an adjustment or moving in a different direction because it's almost getting like migraine energy in a way. Not like you have a migraine, but um, it seems like this is time, like time to restore and time to maybe restore um, maybe the life that you wanted because you could have been in a position where maybe your parents wanted or had like a vision or like the way that they did stuff to get where they're at. It's just no matter how many times you try to have their dreams come true, their dreams aren't your dreams. Unfortunately, it just it's good to try to um, have people be happy, but at some point, it's just if it doesn't work for you, this seems like what's kind of going on, and I feel like it really links to the Nine of Swords is really linking to the Oracle cards again with these. Even though the Willing Entanglement kind of reminds me of the Eight of Swords too, but there's clarity when you give your time to rest, give yourself time to rest. Um, because sometimes when you're like just too tired and you keep going at it, um, your brain just doesn't want to function anymore. It's just so fatigued from things. So definitely like a restoration, and even with the willing entanglement, that could get tiring too when you keep having maybe this persona or um, what's true to you, and then what is maybe the social norm. And I did have a topic like this when I was making a presentation last week for one of the medical groups or medical clubs that I help host. And it's like the Hone and Tatame, the meanings are that are really ingrained into Japanese culture, where hone is like your personal feelings, and then tatame where your um maybe you're polite and then that's your response. It's not it's to maintain social harmony in a way, which could be like with your parents or with, again, there's certain expectations of society in a way. And um it can be really extended because there's certain aspects of like tatame where you learn how to read the air, because it's rude to question somebody's maybe intentions or like what they say to you. There's an example of let's hang out sometime with not a specific um, time or intention of hanging out. And then it's saying a lot of times it can be tatame because you'll say it out of kindness, but it may not be a genuine response. And then there's also the point of like it will if you're again if it's ingrained it or like if it's a practice that you follow, um, it's pretty it's a term that's in Japan, but just because it's just a term in Japan, it can reflect certain behaviors too. Um, and it, it kind of like in a way reminds me of maybe I feel like fairy energy where it's the where like fairy energy you're saying the truth technically, or even when it's a stretch of the truth there's still some truth to it. And I feel like that's another type of maybe personality that goes into it, or the way that our moral compass works. But then again, when you grow up with these types of practices, it can be seen as something that's normal or even necessary to keep the society going. So there's a lot of different perspectives from it, and sometimes it takes a long time to look into it. And it also reminds me of like uh, when you get to know a person or like a sign specifically, maybe you hang out with specific zodiac signs or different types of people, and you kind of like gauge them better. And like people, or like at least I sense when people like hang out with certain zodiac signs, like especially in readings, because in readings, sometimes, say for a Libra, that they say the general things about Libras, and which is fine, but then you see certain people are that make videos and that mention Libra. I'm saying that because my sun sign's Libra, but most of my chart is in Scorpio. Um, but when they sometimes like certain people when they talk about like a Libra, it's like they really know them. It's not just saying the generic um, balanced or fairness type of thing. And there's also that kind of gratification too because of really getting into the nitty gritty of that type of information. There's something that it feels like that you, because you stayed there for so long, these behaviors, the things that you were told or things that you were exposed to, it's almost like ingrained and it's almost like you know it so well. So it's something that like is branching out from that because there could be that realization that something again is changing, and it's really going to the beat of your own drum, as I was saying with the Knight of Swords for sure. Um, and I feel like, again, going into maybe the Libra and weighing out options, I feel like it's just not enough to say that there's just two things that they're weighing out, because I feel like you think about so many things. I'm not just saying it's just with Libras, but different um, ways that this one action can affect so many different areas of your life and can extend to the future too. It's not just weighing two things out. Um, and I, I feel like sometimes that could be seen as maybe indecisiveness. In a way, it can be, but it's really taking time to make sure that this is true to what your moral compass is, or like it goes with the path that you take and the actions that you take from this moment on, um, is almost like of the divine. It feels like so much more than just like an earthly experience. Um, like if you're going to help somebody, and I'm not saying not to help somebody, but sometimes if you help somebody to the extent of maybe you're taking away what they're supposed to learn from this act, from what they're doing, or um, the lesson, and not like in a malicious way. Like if they, of course, if they need help, you can help them, but it's also making sure that you're not taking the karma, or taking, if you don't believe in karma, like taking away or putting the burden completely on you, because maybe that's not the role at that point. It just feels like there's so much depth to it. And me saying it's going to be a short reading, um, there's a fatigue that comes with it, because there's something I feel that is, again, it got to a point where it's just like weighing heavy on your mind, because this is part of the past, and it's the Four of Swords with the Justice card, and so Libra does show up here. I'm not just reading for Libra, because the Justice card is associated with Libra, and Air is associated with Libra. In this deck, it sometimes they flip the decks, especially with the swords and the wands. So I feel like there was careful considerations that came into it, and it doesn't feel like it was easy when the Libra came up to this. Um, but I feel like one of the main reasons why the Knight of Swords came in this reading is because it was that symbol being like, once Libra, or once this person, because it could be like Gemini, or it could be any other sign. Once they realize this, it was something that they can't unsee. And it's like, now I can't go back, because um once I made this decision, that was it. That was the justice, and we move forward with it. Um Sometimes things aren't as concrete, but this decision, it feels like with the Knight of Swords not wanting to look back, and almost like I've gone too far now. Maybe I've gone too far with what I said. Maybe I've gone too far with what I did. Or it could be a mindset of like, I know this now. I'm not, I was exposed to what maybe I didn't see because I was entangled for so long. Um, and it might feel a little bit like a war zone in the future, like the Major Arcana Justice, Major Arcana Temperance associated with Sagittarius. And with this energy, it does feel like it might feel chaotic, but needing to maintain um, the composure, needing to maintain maybe even the peace too, because of the decision that you decided to make and not going with the status quo. It could be emotionally and even financially um, like a tipping point. Like, and that's why it seems like there's a rush in, and the Knight of Swords feels that rush of energy and determination of needing to get this done because it feels like there's certain things at stake with it too. Could be like career, even relationships linked to it. But there's such an enthusiasm when you see this because there's like a lot of high energy with it. And because in the future, you even have the Page of Wands, and I feel like that's pretty fitting for the Temperance card. And sometimes it does surprise me in a way, sometimes not, when it comes to Sagittarius being with Temperance. But it's like you're a fighter, and at this point, it feels like life is calling you to fight. So it's fighting for maybe with the Justice card what you feel like is true to you, what needs to be done. And this spark definitely didn't go out with the Page of Wands. I do have three cards that I didn't turn over yet. So we have the Six of Cups here with the Queen of Cups and then Major Arcana Empress. So also linked to um, the Libra too. And it could be linking to Taurus energy. It feels like it almost feels like a growth spurt, like puberty in a way. Like when you get your period, that type of thing. Only this is grown type of energy. So it could be like the second puberty, as some people say, when you're around your 30s. Um, Queen of Cups is one of the archetypes here, and I feel like maybe it's like Cancer energy doesn't need to be Cancer energy, just water energy in general, Scorpio, Pisces. So, and then when combined with Venus, there's something really feminine about this energy. It's almost like using uh well the saying like using what your mama gave you type of thing. So with the feminine energy, it's knowing and seeing the type of person that you are and the worth, um, the individual that you are, the incredible person that you are. It just feels like there's something that is 10 toes down about this energy. There's some type of really finding your way and cherishing even moments with the Ten of Cups too. Like maybe people that you come across that really moved you in some way or inspired you on this journey, or like maybe they helped you, and I was getting like emotional. Um, maybe they helped you and you remembered how maybe like at that point you felt like you were at rock bottom and then you had a random act of kindness and it just moved you so much and it made you feel like this is why I have to do this. Um, and of course, you have the maternal energy of the Empress card, and you also have it being fertile too. So, this could definitely be a fertile time for you if you want to take that um, spiritually or even physically. I feel like it can link to the Ten of Coins, definitely. And um, that could be like your secret sauce to what happens because again you put your own spin on things and um you really put love into it, like if you're making food for somebody or even for yourself too, like you just like pour all the love into it and put the spices that you like or like the ones that they like and there's a lot of tender care that goes into it. So that was the reading. And then the Six of Cups, like, sorry, it just feels like with the Six of Cups that, again, there could have been something that really changed you or moved you. The kindness of somebody, something that really made you emotional or captivated, inspired in a way that made you want to love more. Um, you could have been loving someone specific. You could have just wanted to love or bring peace or like harmony or just be somebody's peace, harmony, be your own peace and harmony. Uh, so whatever that was, because it could even be like the opposite, like maybe they didn't treat you well in certain moments, maybe they saw when you were knocked down, they wanted to keep you down type of thing, and then you saw something or saw somebody for who they were and you couldn't unsee it regardless of how what perspective you saw it from, whether it was kindness or whether it was coldness or indifference, because that's the opposite of love. um, it it moved you in some way, and I feel like it made you be such a soul that is so captivating right now, and that's what the secret sauce is. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.